Planet Dolan. What creature's sting literally makes its patients wish for death? What supposedly feels like walking over flaming charcoal with a 3-inch nail in your heel? From bug bites to torture methods, here are 15 of the most painful things that can ever happen to a human. I'm Danger Dolan, and today I will be your narrator.
Number 15.
When you get stung by a jellyfish, it hurts, right? Stinks really bad sometimes, but you likely weren't stung by an irukandji jellyfish. Symptoms include vomiting every 2 minutes for about 12 hours straight, full body cramps, difficulty breathing, and the feeling of a power drill boring a hole into your back. It gives you a muscular restlessness, so you can't stop moving, but every time you move, the pain gets worse. The pain is so bad, patients are sure they're dying. They often ask their doctors to just kill them to get it over with. But with treatment, the sting isn't fatal, even if it makes you wish it was.
Number 14.
Durham's disease, one of the 10 rarest diseases on Earth, remains a mystery to doctors who have no idea about the cause or the cure. They struggle to even accurately diagnose the disease. The disease consists of multiple growths of lumpy, fatty tissue growing just below the skin on the upper arms and legs. The lumps usually push against nearby nerves, causing waves of extreme pain, or sometimes just constant discomfort.
Number 13.
Trigeminal neuralgia is named for the trigeminal nerve it affects. That nerve is the one that controls how you feel things on your face. And if you have this condition, even the slightest sensation on your face can feel like the jolt of a painful electric shock. That includes things like brushing your teeth or putting on makeup.
Number 12.
Childbirth. It's not the most creative answer, but you can't talk about painful things happening to the human body without talking about this. We are literally talking about a human body pushing a smaller human body out of it. To say the least, that is not easy to do. Take a moment to appreciate mums for doing that.
Number 11.
Speaking of pushing things out of your body through places they really don't fit through, let's talk about kidney stones. Passing the kidney stone isn't really the most painful part, it's having it in your kidney, backing up the flow of urine. Once that happens, everything just starts expanding until you pass it. Some women even say it's more painful than even childbirth.
Number 10.
Complex regional pain syndrome. You know this hurts because pain is right in the name of the condition. This condition usually affects an arm or a leg, and it tends to happen after a major injury or other serious medical problem like a heart attack or a stroke. Only this stays with you long after any of those things. It hurts way more than the original problem did, and nobody really understands why.
Number 9.
Okay, so there's this thing called a bullet ant, and it's named that because of what it feels like to get stung by one. It brings waves of pain for about 12 hours, which can't really be managed with anything. One description of what it feels like when a bullet ant stings your foot says it feels like walking over flaming charcoal with a 3-inch nail in your heel.
Number 8.
Nothing we've talked about so far has been explicitly related to torture, so let's go ahead and talk about that. The breaking wheel, also known as the Catherine wheel, was a device used for strapping condemned prisoners down and breaking all their bones one by one with an iron rod. If a prisoner survived the breaking wheel punishment, they were simply left to die of dehydration.
Number 7.
Peritonitis. If you've ever felt how uncomfortable it can be to have constipation, well, this is sort of like that. Only instead of feeling some cramps because you need to poop, you have cramps because of a complex bacterial infection growing in a hole in your intestines, and that infection can spread to your entire body and kill you. So it hurts, just a bit more than your average constipation.
Number 6.
Okay, you're likely not surprised at all to hear that a grizzly bear attack hurts. You might be surprised to hear why. Not only are bears known to ride human bodies down hills like a sled, but they also pretty much eat you alive. They don't really go for the kill, they just try to eat your face first.
Number 5.
Second-degree burns is something a little more common than a bear attack. You're likely never going to find yourself on a breaking wheel, but a second-degree burn can happen to anyone. These burns happen when a burn is severe enough to damage the tissue under your skin. They usually result in painful blisters, and larger burns can put the body into shock because of the body losing too much moisture.
Number 4.
We tend to think of it more as a religious symbol than anything, but crucifixion was really just an incredibly painful form of torture. But how does it actually kill you? Well, there's usually a couple of ways that actually have very little to do with the whole nails through the wrists and ankles thing. Often it's just suffocation. Because of the way the body is suspended, breathing requires the body to pull itself up to fill the lungs. Many people died by just being too exhausted to continue breathing. They just hunched over till they suffocated.
Crucifixion? Yes, good. out of the door, line on the left, 1 cross each.
Number 3.
Gonadal torsion is often known as testicular torsion, and it involves twisting. Enough said about that. The difference is testicular torsion affects only men. Gonadal torsion can refer to women as well, usually in the case of an ovarian cyst or other problem.
Number 2.
The closest English translation for Ling Chi is death by 1,000 cuts, but the actual number of cuts used range from 100 to 3,000. It's also commonly known as slow slicing. So those cuts don't come all at once. The procedure involved the slow flaying of skin and muscle over the body, sometimes right down to the bone. When that was done, the executioner would sever each limb individually and finish the execution with a stab to the heart, or a decapitation. Fortunately, this was not a common execution tactic. It was saved for the worst offenders convicted of things like treason, mass murder, or killing a parent.
Number 1.
Penile fracture. Yep, you heard that correctly. It is possible to break a penis basically in half. It can only happen when the penis is erect and sustains some kind of force that it can't handle while it's filled with blood. Usually the fracture makes a cracking or popping sound, the sound of tissue tearing, and possibly the urethra as well. There's no real need to describe the pain at this point. Guys are likely already hunched over recoiling just thinking about it, like me. Pretty much ended me when you mentioned testicular torsion. This video was made possible by our fans over on Patreon. Thanks for your support, guys. That is it for this countdown. Have a good one!